months ago, I came to a stark realization. I had lost my mind. I don't mean it in the traditional sense, like a breakdown. It's more like the mind I had once known. The framework I'd built my life upon had fallen apart, and it left me in a place I wasn't sure I could rebuild from. My life has drastically changed since then, but let me backtrack. In 2019, I began the painful process of deconstructing my Mormon beliefs and upbringing. For me, this was about unraveling the dogma that had shaped my entire existence. I had to retrain my brain, rewiring years of programming around fear, shame, and the suffocating hive mentality that comes with enmeshment in any high-control religion. As the years went on, this process didn't stop with just my faith. It spilled over into every system I had ever been a part of. I started questioning everything: the government, society's structures, how we consume, what we value. Once I pulled on that thread, it unraveled everything. What followed was a dark and isolating place: nihilism. The emptiness that comes when you realize nothing in life feels meaningful anymore, because every belief, every societal expectation, every system you once trusted begins to crumble. It's terrifying, depressing. But what happens when you hit that bottom? You have to rebuild. You start to reconstruct your own belief system, your own values, your own reasons to keep going. It's a vulnerable, raw place to be, but it's also where transformation begins. While in this fragile state, I found myself drawn to Utah's history. I buried myself in books, 35 a week from the library, sometimes more, drinking up knowledge that had long been forgotten, knowledge that didn't fit the sanitized narrative we've been told. I began to see things that weren't immediately obvious. The mountains in my own backyard, the land I had walked my whole life, were holding secrets. Secrets that most people, even those living here, didn't know existed. So I kept digging, both physically and mentally, going deeper into local history, ancient stories, oral traditions, books you can only read in the library. And then, something shifted. I began to feel connected to the land in ways I can't fully explain. I started feeling energy from the rocks. As I hiked the mountains and walked ancient trails, I began receiving information. Not from books, but from the earth itself. The land started to speak to me, whispering ancient stories in ways I didn't understand but were true. My connection grew deeper with each step I took, each trail I explored. I felt guided by the ancestors who had once inhabited this land, by the spirits of those who had lived and died here, by the very soil beneath my feet. I began to hear their voices, telling me their truths that have been buried, erased, and forgotten. But this connection came with a price. I fell down a rabbit hole of scarcity and urgency, a deep dive into the loss of our collective history. The more I learned, the more I felt the overwhelming weight of what we stand to lose. I began to see the industry encroaching on sacred ground, the greedy developers erasing our historic buildings, wiping away character, craftsmanship, and stories that should have been preserved. It was a quiet violence, filling land with sterile, empty office buildings instead of honoring the people who once lived there, instead of respecting the resources the earth so generously provided. It consumed me. It was so heavy, so dark, that it clouded every part of my being. The paranoia, the weight loss, the inability to separate reality from possibility, I was drowning in it. I had to step back. I had to make the decision to pull out of this fight, to let go of the impossible weight of saving the world or even this piece of land. I had to refocus on what I could control, my family, my immediate reality. But the mountains still call to me. I've learned to compartmentalize, to heal through various means, but I won't forget. I won't lose my voice. For now, it's a quiet whisper, a prayer to the earth and the ancestors. When the time is right, my voice will roar. But until then, I hold space for the truth I carry inside me. And I challenge you, speak to the earth, speak to the mountains, to the plants, to the animals. Ask for enlightenment, ask for truth. It will be revealed to you if your heart is pure and your intent is good. The communication is there, waiting for you to listen. But remember, don't lose yourself in it. Don't fall into a scarcity mindset that will risk your mental health. Set your intentions and keep your priorities clear. Let the wisdom of nature fill your soul, and you'll find yourself in a place of curiosity, wisdom, and a deep understanding of what needs to be preserved, honored, and shared. This journey is not just mine. It's for all of us who are willing to listen. And when we do, we can carry the truths of the earth forward, honoring those who came before us and protecting what remains for the future. True enlightenment does not come from the doctrines of old, nor from the comforting structures we've been taught to rely on. It is not found in the rituals handed down to us, the prayers recited from books, or the lessons dictated by men who claim to know the truth. These paths, though they may have guided many, were not your path. The truth you seek does not lie in what you've been told is right or sacred by others. It lies within you, waiting to be uncovered by your own experiences and understanding of the world. Break free from the conventional. Step beyond the borders of what you've always known and ask for answers in a new way. This journey, this quest for understanding, is not about memorizing texts or following the steps laid out by others. It is about forging your own connection with the universe, with the source that lives inside of you. Don't mistake my words for permission to simply adjust your beliefs within the confines of the old structures. This is not about tweaking your old ways to fit a new narrative. This is about shedding the labels, discarding the prescribed paths, and creating your own journey, one that is free, unbound, and uniquely yours. You are the source. You have always been the source. All matter, all energy, every ounce of life is connected to the infinite source, and it is in you that the truth will emerge. This is your truth, unwritten, unbound by any man's hands, free from the prison of belief systems built on the words of another. Walk your own path. Choose your own understanding. No one can tell you what's real. Only you can see it. Only you can feel it. Create your own truth, and in doing so, be free.